shithole. And I think in the grand scheme of things, like, we're just rusty with doing jobs with each other. And like, yeah, I do get it. Like, not everyone should have, like, we shouldn't have just ran away from that situation. I 100% get that. But shitting on each other like this and calling each other pussies and having like an argument over something that we can just chit chat about isn't gonna help the situation, you know?
Yeah, but what you need to, the thing is, right? I get what you're saying, but I'm not going to be nice about it, especially because of the conversation we have on Monday. And the thing is, right, her argument is, you didn't give any comms, but I heard her over the radio say, who's shooting? Now, listen, Patar, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but if there's 3 of us and 4 cops under a bridge and no one else in sight and we hear shooting, my assumption would be either I'm shooting them or they're shooting me. And I would 100%. Go back to find out. You don't just go, oh, who's shooting? Oh, anyway, fuck it. Let me just get in this car and drive off. Like, the fact that they didn't even come back, and I'm not going to lie, the fact that, and I appreciate that you didn't know, so I can't really say you as well, but you were there. The fact that you guys didn't even come back afterwards, after they had explained to you what had happened, the fact that none of you came back is a bit like, well, fuck Jaden, isn't it? Because if I'm not coming over the radio anymore, you guys have heard gunshots, you all know what's going on, and you just drive off with nothing, that's a bit of a kick in the face. Like, no one even comes back to find out.
Yeah. No, because, like, the reason... So what happened was with me, Matt's like, I'm hiding, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. And I'm like, where, Matt? Where? And this is... I'm assuming this is long gone after you were shot down.
I don't know, probably, yeah.
So I go pick up Matt, and then Saint's saying, I'm on the road, pick me up, and she's getting chased by a cop. And I'm like, if they're saying there were shots, and yes, I probably should have came back and knocked, they're gonna shoot both Matt and Saint. So I'm like, let me get them out real quick, and then, you know, you're not wrong, we should have probably came back, but they called out the car, and if they were shooting you and we came back with the Mercedes, they would have just magged them Mercedes, you know?
Do you know how many cops were there in total?
No, I have no clue.
5.
I only saw the
5 were on duty. 5 were on duty. I shot 2 of them in the face. There was 3 more. I could have just saved an hour and 20 minutes of my time and 25k. But no.
Yeah.
Matt didn't have a gun. Saint decided to ask who's shooting over the radio, then run away, and then they tell you 20 minutes later.
Yeah, and you have every right to be angry, but it's just something that it's pure lack of communication there, and like everyone just like, I don't think we should be dispersing like that in situations like that, especially like if you're trying to still flip the car. Like if you're flipping the car, and like I wasn't there, so I can't say word.
Mohammed, appreciate it. Say one, brother.
If you're flipping the car, they should be tackling the cops.
Okay, let's even if okay, we look over that. All right, let's say miscommunication. I didn't call out that I was shooting because I was getting batted in the face. Okay, but anyway, that's fine. Like yeah, exactly. I don't. Of course I don't.
Which I get that.
Right. So let's just go over. Let's forget about that bit. All right, cool. I guess the major problem is you guys, and I know you've already said I understand you're angry, but that
you know what
the
my
fact
issue
that
there
I got abandoned, bro. It was straight abandoned. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, you were abandoned. You were abandoned.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Which I would never do that.
Right.
I would never do that to any of you, man, which is crazy, bro. Actually crazy. Like the thing is, if I heard shots, I'd be the first one there. I always am. So that's, I don't know. It's just a bit dead.
I 100% get that, because it's like, why am I going to risk my life for people who won't risk their lives for me? And I 100% get that. 1000% get that. But I think that will come with mojo.
Will be drama? Is it because I'm MDMA? No, listen, I'm not going down the stash farming route, bro. Because the stash farming route is Cruiser's lane, mate. I'm staying out of that one.
It does suck, and it shouldn't have happened. But it's something I think everyone should take into consideration, keep in the back of their head, and is like, okay, we made this mistake this time, and we don't just leave each other behind like that. Because in a grand scheme of things, we should never ever leave each other behind like that, you know?
Listen, but I said it at the meeting, and I'll say it again. I know, like, you're trying to sort of, you're trying to make it easy for them too by saying, oh, it's like we're rusty, but I ain't gonna take that. The only word for it is selfishness. People are there's a lot of selfishness in the gang, whether you like it or not, right? Like when it comes to going to jail or money or anything that could cause a problem for people, that's when the selfishness comes out. When it's like not a big deal, people don't really mind. But when it comes to people's time and money, that's when people become very selfish. That's why people are hesitant. They're not hesitant because they're hesitant of like, the only thing they're hesitant of is going to jail. The only thing they're hesitant of is them facing consequences for the actions of others, which is selfishness. That's the reality of it. People in this gang are selfish and they will put themselves first before anyone else. And that is the reality of it. And it's a sad reality, but it's the truth, even if people don't want to admit it. The reason they didn't come back and shoot, or the reason they didn't even come back and check, was because they were concerned about going to jail, which means they were only concerned about themselves, nobody else, which is selfish. And the thing is, right, I could never be like that, and I never will be like that. I could never think, oh no, if I go back I could go jail. Like, fuck that shit.
Jay, remember that one time I picked you up on the bike?
You've done it plenty times, mate.
We had this conversation where I was the only one that helped you on the bike.
I don't know, mate.
Was worried about remember, it was on Del Perro. I picked you up on the bike and me and you had a heart-to-heart about people being selfish, right?
It sounds about right. I don't remember, I'll be honest, but yeah.
And we had a conversation.
How many months ago was this?
This was like 6 months ago.
Okay, and we're still here today.
So that's the thing, is we're still here today. So how do we fix the selfishness? Because you're not wrong. Me and you had that conversation on that Menches, and I remember that chat from like 6 months ago, on where everyone was worried about this, that, and nobody came and helped you. But you said whenever they need help, Jay is always there to help them. But whenever you need help, everyone's concerned about this, that. And I remember that because it was a conversation we had on the Menches after, I think, your boost went out or you got chased, or I don't even remember what it was, but I know it was on a Menches, you know?
See, the problem now is, I think a lot of it obviously is down to going jail. Obviously, the selfishness stems from money, right? And I think now is worse than ever, because before, 6 months ago, I mean, shit, I just lost 25k. Now, 25k 6 months ago is nothing. I mean, shit, one oil rig and I can do that 15 times over, right? But now, that 25k, I mean, I don't make money anymore. And obviously, that's a whole different thing, but that's down to my laziness, yeah, whatever. But the point I'm proving is, now that people don't have a get-rich-quick scheme, that selfishness is only gonna exacerbate, I think is the right word. You know, it's only going to be, it's going to intensify. Exactly, because people know that if they go jail and they lose their gun, they lose their heroin, they lose their dongle, they lose 25k in fines, they can't just hit oil rig once and there you go, it's not over. Like, it's over and done with. So the issue is only going to get worse. And I get that, like, okay, you know, Matt didn't have a gun. I mean, he's a fucking idiot. Why has he not got a gun? I get that, you know, you don't really know what was going on. And I get that, like, Saint's excuses, I didn't really come. Okay, we let this one slide. But I can guarantee you right now that this will happen every single week. Guaranteed someone will be in my situation where they felt like they got abandoned, or they felt like, well, selfishness took over. And we've seen it. We've seen it time and time again, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's been an issue for this long. How do we fix it? You know, I think, because you're not wrong about the selfishness part, and the sloppiness about jobs, I think, is taking it seriously when we need to. Like, for example, we can, like SK mentioned this, we can piss about, we can have fun while we're doing the job, but when it comes to that point where we need to be serious, I think there needs to be that switch. You know, that's what I mean about, like, the, you know, we're kind of rusty with doing jobs with each other, because like, two of you guys can be serious and everyone can be like clowning around still, you know?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, listen, I'm not gonna sit here on my high horse and say that I don't do that shit. I mean, I'm one of the worst people for pissing about and clowning around and whatnot, because I mean, I think that's mainly for me is I don't spend a lot of time in the city, right? So I want to enjoy every moment that I can, because I get bored pretty easily, right? So I mean, yeah, you know, like the Monday meeting, I was pissing about and shit, and you know, a lot of serious situations I do piss about. I'm happy to admit that, but I know. I want to say I know a time and a place. I know the line. I know when we need to get ready and fix up and get going, and when, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know when to be on point, right? And that's the difference. I think, I don't know, bro. It's hard because, like, I don't know. I do think a lot of our problems do stem from selfishness.
I think the way we can start making a change with that is like having a proper conversation and being like, Matt, like I would have you know, I would have thrown a, like, put it in a perspective of money. Like I would have lost the Browning, I would have lost my heroin, I would have gotten 9s to get you out of that situation, etc. So it kind of just disheartens me that you wouldn't do the same for me, etc. like that. Like I think actually talking to each other like we're actual human beings and like we're an actual family. And just
Adam, appreciate the tier 1, brother. Thank you.
Something that can slowly help that problem.
I don't think I said thank you to Mohammed either, but I appreciate you tier 1.
Me, the way and that comes to having respect for one and each other within the family, you know? Because if we don't have respect for each other, regardless what you tell me, I don't care, you know? So I think it boils down to having respect for each other and listening to each other and genuinely understanding where each other's coming from. Because like, if you were to sit down with me and be like, you know, Patar, like you could have, you know, there was only 1 or 2 cops, you didn't even bother coming to look up on me, this and that hits hard, you know, that hits home.
No, listen, I agree, yeah, calling them pussies ain't the right way about it.
No, and you know, but the biggest thing about that thing is I don't want that to ever happen again in front of other people. We can have our family issues with us, but that should have never been a thing with Tatiana, with Craig, with everyone in the car, you know?
I mean, I did say to them I don't want to do it, and then they were like, no, let's do it. So they were the ones that wanted to do it, not me.
Who
Saint said that. I said, let's not do it to other people here, and she was like, no, there's already been drama, let's do it. I was like, all right, say less then. So we did it. Like, I was waiting.
Because that should never happen, because people will stare.
You just want us to eat real quick? Go eat, brother. The VOD will be up, don't worry, mate.
Drama, people love to stir in the city. So that's just shit that should never happen. But I'll have my talk with Saint, and I think, you know, like that's like at the end of the day we look at it from hindsight, but it should be something we learn from, you know. And I 100% get it from your perspective, and I do agree with you that people are selfish, you know. And when it comes to like losing a gun or like, oh, Jay made a stupid decision, blah blah blah, why should I go to jail for Jay's stupid decision? Not saying that, you know, because I was not there, but that I'd be dumb to not admit that is, you know, that doesn't happen when it happens, you know.
No, for sure. So, I mean, like I say, I completely understand. The thing is, the way that I see it is, I just feel like people come up with excuses all the time, right?
And that's
There's
the
always
thing,
an
don't come up with an
excuse.
excuse. Like Matt was trying to come up with an excuse. Oh well, Patar, I couldn't get a gun from you. Well, you can go get a gun from Forehead. You can go get one from JJ. You can get one from Pigeon. You can go rob Billy Bob Joe off the street, take his Browning, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right? That's my thing. Is I always feel like there's an excuse or a reason, right? Rather than like just holding their hands up, saying like, oh, I don't know, I didn't back it, I'm sorry. It's always like, oh well, I wasn't sure, or oh well, I thought that, you know, I mean, it's always like, it's like,
lay it down for them, be like, nah, like at the end of the day, that doesn't matter.
What the fuck is that?
This is what it is, and boom.
What the fuck is that?
And if they don't respect you to the point where it's like, oh well, this, and if they're just making excuses, I think they'll learn quick, because you won't be, you know, as quick to jump and, you know, throw yourself off the boat for them, especially if you know they won't do the same for you. It's a learning curve, and I think it'll take time, but I think if you have a genuine heart-to-heart with them, they'll probably open their mind up more, you know. Because when shit gets heated, when shit goes crazy, and you guys are calling each other pussies, you guys are cussing each other out, it's just a barking battle. You guys are just whoever can bark the
They're
loudest.
strange.
If you genuinely sit down and you like, both of you cool down and you guys actually have a heart-to-heart, I think that'll hit home.
I'll be honest, I think Matt didn't say a fucking word the whole time, because I think he just knew just him not having a gun there in general. But then again, I can't lie, he's one of the worst for it. Like, he's always been one of the worst for it. When it comes to getting him out, I mean, shit, everyone's there, but, you know...
Yeah, like, for example, his car, he'll always make sure he, like, before. I mean, I've seen his car get impounded a couple times to try saving us. But before, he would always make sure his car was, you know, safe. And, you know... But he has been getting better with it, where he will sacrifice his car to save us.
Yeah.
So, like,
well,
you know,
like I say,
100% get you though.
Yeah, I just think, yeah, it's just a bit shit. People are a bit worried about things, but I guess it's just like, I guess the reason it's just so much more for me is because, regardless of anyone's views and shit, I will always put other people first. You know what I mean?
And I remember that conversation me and you had on Manchester. That's why it says conversation that stuck with me, because I genuinely knew how you felt.
Yeah, but it's always been like that though. Like I've always put like other people first. I'm always the first one there to back people. If my car goes or I get shot or I go to prison, if someone says I like re-shooting, I'm like, all right, say less, where, like. And I think that's why it pisses me off so much, is because I'm always willing to go down for other people, but people aren't really willing to go down for me. And I don't know if that's because of the way that they feel towards me, or if they're just a bunch of selfish pricks. But either way, it's a bit of a kick in the face.
Yeah, and I think let me just take this real quick. It's Sparky. What's good, S-Gang? Hola. Yeah. I'm just having a quick chat with Jay at the graveyard, and I'll be at the block in a second. Maybe like 2-3 minutes. And then I needed to call... Yeah.
No, I will go down, AJ. What the fuck? Yo, chill.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I'm just gonna finish this chit chat with Jay, and then I'll call you, okay? Appreciate you, okay?
4, you meant 4, yeah?
I think in the grand scheme of things, looking at it now, if I knew, I think if the boys knew you were actually getting beaten, or if you were the one shooting, or this or that, I think it's also in the situations always people panic to make decisions, and that's why when we want to break someone out of cuffs, or if we want to go save someone, it almost never happens because we panic, you know? And I think with Matt and both Saint, it's fair to say they would panic quick, you know? So I think if they actually knew that you were getting beat, I think it would have been different. But I mean,
they were there.
Didn't have a gun.
They were there. Like this is what I know.
That's the thing. They all ran away, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like but they literally said, right, we're beating you down, and then they started beating me over the head. Like I say, I know that you're trying to like provide an excuse for them to make it seem like.
No. I'm just looking at it from hindsight, for like, because the thing is, at the end of the day, I think like I never want to see that arguing in front of anyone ever again. And if it's like, for example, Saint's the one that's like, hey, let's argue, just be quiet and don't talk, you know? Or if it's like don't, I never want our problems being another person's problems, or people, because the thing is, it's we should deal with our shit within our family, you know? Because when it becomes an outside problem, that's when it becomes an ego game. Like, people will try piping up more when it's in front of people, you know, because they want to impress their friends. But you know, we learn from this situation. I genuinely think if you have a heart to heart with both of them, it'll go a long way.
I can't lie, I feel like it's a waste of time.
You think it's a waste of time?
Yeah, I do. Because listen, I know Saint, and she's just gonna give me a bunch of excuses, and she's gonna stick to her. I didn't know what was going on, right? And like I say, I guess it hurts more from her, considering I sat there on Monday and said in front of everyone, the only person I trust to be there for me no matter what and back it instantly is her, and then she's the one that lets me down. And then obviously what's the point with Matt? I mean, he doesn't have a gun. I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to say?
No, 100%. I mean, especially like, we shouldn't deep into those things that much, but it's like the gun, this, that. I mean, I already had a one-on-one with Matt But the thing is like, I think instead of giving them options, just tell them that's how you feel. And if they can't respect that's how you felt and how you feel, at the end of the day, there's no hope.
Yeah.
You should be able to listen to someone and be like, this is how I feel. I understand these are factors, but that's how I felt, and I don't really want to feel like that. And then move on from the situation. Because especially if we're family, we should have that decency to just have a heart-to-heart with each other and talk to each other and be like, this is how I felt. You know, the situation's over. We'll move past it. Boom. You know?
Sorry, shit. What? Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, listen, it be what it be. Let's just hope this change.
Do you need a deagle?
Just a Browning will do, mate. Just a Browning will do. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I smoked 2 of the cops with the fucking Browning.
Yeah.
Yeah.